You are listening to the Starter Girls podcast with Jennifer Loading, where extraordinary decisions produce extraordinary results. These are my friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. This episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com. All right, today is a great day to be brave. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up, be amazing, be you, do you. All right, my friends, I am super excited to welcome my guests in studio today. We always love it when the guests come in the studio. It makes the production so much better. So I'm going to get this bio out really quick. I love it. Love it. All right. So James Fisher Jr. is a certified clinical exercise physiologist, corrective exercise specialist, and corporate wellness specialist. His career humbly began as a personal trainer at a small health club in Dallas. In 4 short years, James climbed the ranks to become one of the highest paid personal trainers in North Texas. Love this. He became acutely aware of his need for his expertise in the corporate arena, and in 2013, he founded Mission Fit Fitness, LLC, an on-site wellness company. James has developed over 40 fitness programs and wellness plans that effectively impact many companies and businesses that include hospitals, schools, youth sports teams, and senior living communities in 8 different states. James brings more than 10 years of experience from Fortune 500 corporations to new company startups. He has successfully supported product and process development in the health and fitness industry. He also brings his expertise in geriatric wellness and special populations. He published his first book, Trial and Error, 15 Ways to Maximize Your Health and Fitness Goals, in 2016, which was on the Amazon Health and Wellness Top 50 for over a year. Kudos to you. That is awesome. His mission in life is to empower, educate, and inspire growth physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially to any and everyone who crosses his path. I like that. You just hit all the areas. That's awesome. Welcome to the show, James. Super excited to have you here. This is awesome. To be in the studio.
I know.
And I've not seen you in such a long time.
And I want to say congrats on everything you got going on. I'm amazed. I'm proud. I know I've been following you for a while too, so I'm excited to follow your journey too.
Isn't that fun? You know what? Listen, you never know when you meet people, the circumstances when you meet somebody, how their life is going to evolve. And I think it is so interesting that people that I've met and watched over the years, all the changes that have happened. When I met them, I wouldn't have even known that was necessarily going to be that. They were going to go that direction, but just to watch people unfold and just develop. So
you have that kind of energy to touch any kind of orbit, so I like that.
Thank you.
Whatever energy you have, you bring to that. And like I said, whatever it is.
I have a lot of energy. I do. It's like this. Though, when I hit the pillow and I crash, I'm down. It's out. It's over. It's over.
Me too. I'm out.
It's just when I get up in the morning, I wake up, I'm ready to go, and I pretty much stay like this. And it's so funny because when people see me and they're like, "Are you okay today?" Because you're not, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm tired right now. I'm really tired." I'm coming down. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about this, how all this evolved for you, because we met almost 2 years ago, I think,
maybe
right?
Maybe a little more.
Was it a little more than
I want to say 2017. I even know were we at the awards?
Yes.
We were at the awards in Arlington.
Yes. And that was a very weird. We will just kind of skip nothing. The middle person of the introduction. We'll just skip all that part of it. But that's where we met, and that was such a weird thing that I was at because I had no idea what I was even going to when I met you. I was kind of just drugged to this event, and I got there and had no idea even what it was. Right. But we met that evening, and so I want to kind of backpedal a little bit, and let's just talk about how this all came about for you because you've done a lot even since we met.
Definitely.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through this a little bit and tell us how this all came about.
So I guess to just, and for anybody who doesn't know exactly what field I'm in, I'm kind of in between the healthcare and fitness. So it's that gray area, but it's an amazing field. So basically my title as a certified exercise physiologist is going in and assessing people's background according to their chronic disease that they've been diagnosed with, and giving them the workout plans or the care plans that they use in the gym.
I love that.
Yeah. So when you go to the doctor, of course, before you even see a PT, before you get a referral to go anywhere else, what you see is in the care plans, what you put out is basically what I do. So before you even leave the hospital, it's just okay, what are you safe to do? Are you even okay to lift 50 pounds? Are you okay? A lot of those, even if you have a small hernia surgery or any kind of abdominal surgery, back surgery, I work with a lot of orthos, and they'll call me and be like, hey, I need just this small assessment. So I'll go in and I'll be like, okay, what's your range of motion? How are we feeling today? Based off of, your decline, you're up, what's going on? What can we do today? And that's just in everyday life, not even in the gym, but what are you able to do? So when you see that little care plan when you come home, it says, don't lift this, don't do this, don't do that. That's what we do.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
When
love
it says,
it.
be careful going upstairs, don't lift over 50 pounds. And it's funny because people tell me all the time, well, my daughter's about 50. Well, you shouldn't lift her either. And it's funny because people tell me all the time the ways to sleep and things like that. And that's even before you go to the PT. So
interesting. Yeah. So it's a little deeper than
it is. And it started for me because I started out, like I said, personal training a long time ago. I've been personal training since 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated Texas State. Then I moved out here. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to coach so bad.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a fraternity. You know what I mean? If you don't know somebody right away, then you're stuck being a PE coach.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, for anybody out there who's going to start out in the fitness field, I mean, college is good.
Yeah.
But certs seem to hold a higher rank in our field. So, when I graduated, I had exercise science. I had all these populated clinicals that I could do.
Yeah.
But all they told me I could do is coach right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I tried to do that. I actually, thank God, I actually walked into a gym. I was actually in the application process of being middle school. Of K through.
Yeah.
I think it was K through 5 coach. So I actually walked into the gym, and general manager, I was working out one day. General manager told me, he said, so what do you think about training? I was like, kind of grimy schedule, ain't it? You know what I mean? He's like, no, you make your own hours. You can kind of do whatever you need to do. So I was like, okay. So, I literally started out with 2 clients that week.
Okay.
This is in 2012. So by the end of that first month, I had almost 25 clients.
You're rocking.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. But here's the dilemma that it came by. A lot of that was intertwined in their schedules. So I'm at the gym, so I'm at a location. So you can only come, at a certain time. So you can come probably early in the morning.
Right.
Or you can come later in the evening.
Right.
And this is usually when the gym is crowded. My biggest client base was females, of course.
Right.
So with that being said, do you really want to take somebody who's saying he wants to lose 50 pounds, insecure about themselves, and put them in an environment to where you have, Arnold and everybody else in there? So to me, it's like that was the dilemma that I was facing for so many years about getting so many clients. I got up to about 70 clients just personal training.
Wow.
So I had an epiphany one day when a lady contacted me and said, I just started my own business. And this was in 2012. She said, I just started my own business. It's a home health billing company. Would you be interested in training me and my employees at my home? I said, yeah. I said, sounds okay.
Yeah.
I said, how many employees you got? She goes, I have 4 right now. I said, okay. It's just, I said, okay. So started out on a Monday. I went to the home. It was amazing. It was so comfortable. I have never got so much work out of a good group before. And it was amazing because to figure out so many people had the same goal. And it's always somebody you work with. And think about it like this. Who do you spend your most time with? The people that you work with. Right. Most of the time, 8 hours a day.
Right.
8 hours a day. And sometimes they can be your biggest critic. Sometimes they know a lot more about you than most.
Right.
You talk about it all the time. Oh, what are you doing today? Going to the gym afterwards.
Right.
Well, what about
what are you eating today?
Yeah, what are you eating today? You eat lunch with them.
Yeah.
You talk to them. Sometimes they can
what
be
are you doing this weekend?
Right.
Right.
So, mindset-wise, it was amazing to see that group of people at work being able to work it so hard like that. And still being able to have, basically provided by your employer.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I took that and I was like, okay. So we started off with that, and then she had another friend who owned a chiropractic business. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And literally it bloomed. So I started out with 2 accounts, went to 3, went to 15. So I said, okay, let me make this official.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and went to the legal Zoom and said, this is what I'm going to call it, Mission Fit Fitness.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And word of mouth is crazy. Networking is crazy. People do not understand the resources you can just from word of mouth and just doing good business.
100%.
So I didn't, with little to no marketing, it was just mouth to mouth. And I had, I think, 26 accounts by the end of 2013. I started out January 2014 with 27 accounts. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was literally doing, and I was blessed enough to do part-time. So I was making so much time and so much revenue from that. I was able to actually drop down part-time in my job. At the time, I was just marketing. I was a marketer for Spine Center in Dallas. Okay. Yeah, with Dr. Farley. Wow. That's what I was doing. Yeah, and
that's so awesome.
So then from there it just bloomed. I was able to get into hospitals as well. Home health companies were huge. Hospitals were huge. Hadn't touched schools yet. I didn't touch schools until about 2016. Okay. But I was just putting together wellness programs for them. I also was able to bring in a nutritionist. and a registered dietitian, and also the chiropractor I was working with was able to come in as well and help be a resource for me as well. So we were almost full circle with full wellness.
Wow.
Here's the catch with that. Clinically wise is what always made me nervous. Rehabs, medical, clinical always made me nervous because I never wanted to touch that. Even in the gym, if somebody came in and they had a certain injury or a post-surgical, I was always nervous just for the simple fact that I didn't have enough education.
Gotcha.
No matter what I had, I could have had, but I never knew exactly. So I knew that was where I was going to need to pick up the slack if I wanted to really be successful. And that mindset for me, and I was never, like, I literally went through school and it was easy for me because it's what I had my passion for. When it got to the clinical, I was really scared and really nervous, and I had to really pray about it and still to this day, every person that I touch who's had a clinical issue, I really have to pray about it. I've had, women come in that are, 9 months pregnant that are still working out, and that makes me nervous.
I did that.
Yeah, well, no, but it's coming.
I was one of those people. I was actually teaching aerobics 2 weeks until I had the last two. So yes.
Right. But
no, I get it. I get it.
Right. But it makes me even more nervous when they talk about, I've had, all my other kids were
right. Yeah.
So it's just like
we don't want that happening.
Right. So it's just a lot of things you take into it, and it's so much you can learn.
Right.
And that's just for me, just going in and just really wanted to focus on the clinical aspect of things. So that's why I did that, and I went for exercise.
I love this. I think this is so great. A couple things. So I have a lot of background in the health and wellness too, because I taught aerobics for many years. I actually started when Bally's was around, and I trained with them originally. So I started teaching in 1997, and I taught. Now that was in Houston at the time, and I actually taught in a lot of. One of the places I taught at was where the Rockets used to train, and the women's basketball team there, Mackinvale, they call him Mattress Mac. That's how I know him.
Mattress Mac, yeah.
So he had a studio in Houston where the Rockets would come in and train. So I worked there, and then a lot of places I was at were at these bigger type country club places where they were paying like a lot to get in there, but I had these very small classes, and I really enjoyed more of the big classes where I had the bigger people. But that was a field, so I know working in that gym, the money just wasn't all that great. I was spending more like on my music and my exercise gear, and so I had looked into going into personal training. But like you, I totally get that because I'm one of those people that I say as a 5 a.m.er. I used to go to the gym. In fact, this is a crazy story. It's a true story. I've been at LA Fitness for 12 freaking years. 12 years. I finally just canceled my membership because I was like, I am not paying $32 to wear a mask in the gym, like to wear it in the gym. Like that just messes my experience up. Like I'll just work out outside, right? So I canceled my membership after 12 years. And now I'm like, man, I'm like missing my machines. I'm missing my workouts at the gym. So, but I've been good.
That was you being proactive. Like I can do this myself.
Yeah, but I am doing stuff. Like I do work out. It's just different because that's what I've been doing for years. But I do get that whole idea when you were saying, when do your women want to be in there? Because there are certain times of the day, the 5 a.m.ers, I always say, are hardcore workout people. They're not there to mess around. They're there to work out. That's why I went early. I loved it. Nobody talked. We just got in and worked out late. Right. And then your people in the evening are your pumpers.
There you go.
They're in there pumping the weights. And so when do women want to go is in the middle of the day.
Yes.
Right?
And that intimidates people. But guess what? You're at work. And nobody wants to.
Exactly.
And can you really... and I mean, there were so many factors. I mean, can you go to work and get a great workout and then like not have to shower? I mean, what is it? There's a lot of things you have to have time for that. I only have 45 minutes. Do I eat before I come? Do I eat before I go?
Right.
So there was just so much going on in the time to get a great workout. And a lot of people will tell you, people tell me all the time, I tell people all the time, the gym is like like church. You can go in there, and you can listen to the word, but it doesn't mean you receive it. A lot of people go in the gym and they're just like, we're just going to do what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? We're just follow the crowd. So it intimidates people. It does. It still intimidates me. There's some gyms I won't go in this country. There's California, Florida, there's a couple of gyms I wouldn't go in.
I've never heard anybody put it that way. That was good. But
and I mean, diet, people, people put, talking about diet and nutrition is up there with religion and politics. People will not talk about it. Because it's culturally, you can't, are you going to say, I would never deny my grandma. I'm going to go home on Christmas and I'm going to eat her banana pudding. I don't care what she says.
Oh, even if she banana pudding.
If she says, I'm going to eat every one of her desserts and I'm not going to tell her any different. And I'm going to be like, thank you so much. And I'm going to eat it right in front of her. Because you're not going to tell her no. That's just what she does. And people are like that too. Culturally, people don't want to, if they've been cooking for a long time, it's hard to get out of that. So people don't talk about diet and nutrition a lot. But you have somebody you can talk with that over too. Like I said, most of the time that encompasses people at work. Let's agree to agree. Also, holding an event and challenges at work helps out a lot too between certain people. They have a weight loss board with each other and things like that. So it was just really intriguing to go into a workplace on site and be allowed by the employer and have it funded by the employer. Yeah. And say, you know what, I want to provide this for my employees. And it's amazing. They love it. They call it recess at work. They love it.
So good.
They love it. And they love to come to work now. And it's cut down on, it's helped the employer because they've cut down on injuries at work. The number one cause of somebody missing work is back issues.
I believe that.
Yeah. So the number one cause. So did you know that stretching 10 minutes a day in the morning has a 67%? Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Just proper stretching in your chair at morning. And I mean, it's small things you can do throughout the day. Standing up 4 to 5 times a day and doing certain stretches can help you to get more energized. You know what I mean? Especially if you're sitting at a computer all day. People don't understand the drain a computer can do to you. Carpal tunnels, huge. Now we're having people in their early 30s and 40s that have been at computers because I've been on computers since I was in first grade. Yeah. So when you think about it like that, I mean, people are starting to get it earlier. It's crazy, retinal issues, things like that. Attention deficit is very hard too. People get so focused on they forget to eat, they forget to drink.
Oh, I know.
They even get to go to the bathroom.
No, I believe you. I work with clients. I know. This is a conversation we have. Yeah, they're like, I get so busy, I don't eat. I'm like, you gotta eat. Yeah, you don't remind yourself. You need to be eating.
But guess what? Also spending 8 hours a day at work and then not gonna eat again. Right. Trying to wait till you get to the gym, work out, and then go home try to eat.
Then go eat. Yes,
that's not gonna work out. So.
Well, and it's interesting because you're in that piece. So, like, you know, when I coach clients, because I do the mindset piece of things. So I talk about a lot of the mindset because, you know, having been I'm a former marathon runner, so I understand, and I've been in health and wellness, and then having gone through like my health stuff, and so I have all these little pieces, and you know, and what I found is that so much of this really wraps around people's mindset. And so when you're talking about like all these, you know, like backaches and stuff, and I'm thinking, you know, how many conditions, you're right, and I agree with you 100%, this just minor little stretching, these things they can do in their life that are just very small little minute pieces that can make such a huge impact in their life, you know, but it all starts, I think, with that headspace. It gets back to, we've got to, you know, get them in that space where they have to recognize that this is like this one little piece in this puzzle that we're helping you be a better human being, and that needs to be in the puzzle. Right. That piece needs to be there. It's not what you're doing.
It's not just fitness. It's not just nutrition. It's not just the wellness program. It's everything encompasses, like you said, but it starts with the mind. Sometimes I always tell people, I said, get your mind right before you even come to me or come to any personal trainer for that matter. I know people don't want to hear that, but if you're not ready to, if you just at work and somebody mentioned, oh, you look a little, you know, bigger. Yeah. That wouldn't be a reason for me to go to the gym because your mindset's not right. Exactly. It's based off of what somebody else's opinion. Right. So I honestly tell people, and men and women, men come to me all the time, it's like, oh, I've gained a couple of pounds. Well, you're 6'4". I mean, you know what I mean? You could, I mean, you know. Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's just like, and they always go off this BMI chart.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They always go off of it. Right. So if you're, I mean, and literally, I looked at mine the other day, and I should be 145 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. That being, I know, I hate that chart. Yeah, and that's what the doctors do. They do go off that. You're right. And I'm like, I don't even want to hear that. Right. It's kind of, it's depressing.
No, what it's kind of like, because, you know, I did keto for a really long time. And I did it because, not because I wanted to go on a diet. I did it because I was trying to cure a nerve condition. It did put it in remission. I did get off on my medication. But that you're talking about right there was like almost the same, like, I don't want to say arguments, but the discussions I would have when I go into the doctors and they get hung up on cholesterol. And I'm like, do we really need to have that talk today? Have you checked everything? Because I'm going to converse with you about how cholesterol works. Right. You know, and so even I went in to the doctor, I want to say in the spring, and it was so funny because I laugh about this because a nurse calls me and she says, everything on your lab reports look fine, but your cholesterol's a little high. And I said, well, did you look at my HDL and my triglycerides? And she goes, yeah. Which they're perfect, by the way. My total cholesterol number is high because of my LDL, but I do low carbs, which means I eat saturated fat, which means that's going to be high. Right.
It'll spike your insulin too, yeah.
So I know all this stuff, and I also know, you know, even like about dense particle and the non-dense particle and cholesterol. So I know. So I'm listening to the nurse, and I said, well, I'm not worried about that. Is there anything else on the report that I need to know? She goes, no, but the doctor wants you to exercise and come back in 6 months and get tested. And I'm like, okay, well, just let the doctor know that I do low carb. I'm well aware of all this. Right. We're okay.
Well, you know, and
it's like that conversation I have to have.
And it's no secret that MDs don't have a lot of nutritional. They don't.
I know. Yeah.
And I understand that because if they did, they'd be in there another 2 years.
Right.
But you know, it's understood and it's well noted that they don't have a lot of nutritional. Which is why I said always before you even go to a personal trainer, find you, or if anything, a good psychologist. That's what I tell people all the time. A good psychologist. Yeah. It's a good psychologist and a good registered dietitian.
Bingo.
I'm going to tell you right. I have one.
Yeah.
I have 3 before,
Yeah.
and I don't. And I tell you, I would adhere to them. If they say don't do this, I won't do it.
Yeah.
But a registered dietitian and maybe a good therapist, maybe
I
a good
agree with
psychotherapist.
you.
And I think those are the first 2 things before you even step into the gym that you should do.
Yeah.
Because
That's good. That's good advice. Yeah. Well, and I'm with you because I've worked with a lot of holistic practitioners and stuff. So that's why I say when I have that conversation, I know that information because I had to, because when I was doing keto, back when I started, that was in 2017. That was before it was even a fad. Nobody really knew what it was. So imagine every time I go to a doctor, this is a conversation that's coming up because they didn't know anything about it. And so I had to get versed in it. Like I actually sought out people I sought out one of the best. She's actually, her cookbooks, Halle Berry endorses her cookbooks. A lot of the keto experts. We had a guy on the show that's actually a world record runner, 100-mile in North America and in the world. Wow. They actually converse because he does like carb cycling, and so he talked about that actually on the show. But yeah, I really had to get versed in that information, and so now it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna have that conversation. Put me in the room with somebody that knows that information.
And also you're self-educated as well, and that's why I tell people, no matter what you tell, because it's not one size fits all.
Right.
It's not, and you can do your own research.
100%.
And I know we're in the age of, okay, I'm going to look at a workout on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm going to do that. Yeah. Well, that may not be right for you, and that's where a lot of people come in. You can't eat like everybody eats.
Right.
Everybody's body's different. Mm-hmm. Blood type is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Even genetics are a big thing. You know, you're not going to store fat where somebody else would might store fat.
Right.
So I tell people all the time, it's like, hey, you know what I mean? Do your own research. Do your own research, and that's why I said always get clinical before anything else. Okay, before you step into that gym and probably go to somebody who's probably just had a couple of hours of this online. Please understand that there's a huge part of this in the back of everybody's mind of where you need to be. Your goal by coming to the gym is not going to be your trainer's goal.
Yeah,
I can tell you that right now. They only have probably 3 types of assessments and workouts they can put you through to get you where you need to be. Okay.
That's good to know.
I guarantee you will hit a quicker plateau by just starting working out rather than getting on a good diet plan, getting a nutrition plan, and going there and killing it. Because I tell everybody, if you have not detoxed before you started working out, or any kind of meal plan, or any kind, if you haven't figured yourself out, you will fail. And that's why.
So good.
And that's why people fail.
Yeah.
That's why. And you want to know why 90% fail? Because they're not prepared.
Right.
Because if you would fuel your body with the right stuff, then you wouldn't get so sore you can't go to the gym the next day. Because that's what a lot of people do.
This
they
is so
burn
good.
themselves out. They do. They kill themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, this is making me think the part where it's like you can't exercise yourself out of a diet.
Right.
You've heard that, right? Because so many, the mindset with a lot of people is, I'm going to eat now, I'm going to go work out to burn off what I just ate. And you really can't do that. I always tell people you're better off eating healthy.
You're exactly right.
And then add the exercise in, then do the reverse, because people they really think
exercise is a small percent of what you need to do. I know
this is so good, James.
Exercise is so small.
Yeah.
The percent, if I was to be honest, if you're not an Olympic athlete or a bodybuilder,
right,
the percent of exercise that you have to do is probably less than 30.
Yeah, true.
And I'm talking about there's been studies to where you can get out and you can walk 10 minutes a day and your diet be not as strict as you want to, but as long as you're nutritionally, and you're hitting all, you're not overeating, proportionally controlled, you can match everything up in your goals.
Diet. Yeah, that's so awesome, because it's interesting that we're talking about you're saying all that, because when I was training, for all the running that I was doing, I was running probably anywhere between 60 and 80 miles a week. I mean, I was running a lot. I was sore a lot, and that was kind of in the peak when I was doing keto, which is, a lot of people think you can't do that, and I was doing it. But it's
the right way to do everything.
Yeah. But it's interesting now because I don't work out near as hard as I do, and I do everything in balance. Now it's really about, even when I'm working with people, and I don't do so much of the exercise stuff with people. I let them kind of it would be more like I would send them to you to design that. I'm more about, hey, how do we do consistency? How do we take your plan, put it into your life, and make this a consistent plan that you can do for the rest of your life, so you don't need me forever. You don't need a coach, and you don't need me. That's what I work on. But it's so interesting that, I look at myself and I think I'm not working out near as hard. I just do everything more in the balance. I watch what I eat. If I have a bad day, I don't beat myself up about it. It's like, okay, we're back on plan tomorrow. And that's what I try to really tell people. It's not about all or nothing. You have a bad day in your workout, you don't just quit and I'm not going to do it again. You just get up the next day and you go, okay, that was a bad day, shake it off, move on. So I love this, and I think you said a lot of really good stuff in there. So good. I mean, hey, if you're going to start out something, what do we need to say? I think you covered a lot of it already. We won't even have to do that. So what is the best part about this? What is driving you? What do you love about this?
Oh man, the feedback I get from people. Like I really feel like I have a place, and this is what most people don't understand. If you haven't found that yet, it's amazing. Because see, I would do this for free. I would do this if I was younger. I would do this if I was older. I would do this if I couldn't do this anymore. Because this is what I get up in the morning for, and I can honestly say, I've never had, since I've been doing this for the past almost, 6 years.
Yeah.
I have never. There's not been one day I've gotten. I'm like, oh, I have to go.
Here we go again.
No, every day I'm up.
This
3
is
o'clock
so
in the morning,
good.
every day.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. There's not been one time I haven't answered a call from one of my clients, for anybody else. I thrive on knowing that I'm making a difference in people's life. And I know I don't wear a cape, but I know somewhere down the line that they're gonna think that, oh my gosh, like he actually, yeah, I'm a superhero. And I know, and I think about it like that because when people come to me, they come to me with real issues.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've never thought back in the day, even personal training, taking something, doing something with my body is okay because I know my body.
Yeah.
But being able to put some education and science and love and passion behind somebody else and change somebody else's life as well as body and even mindset, it's an amazing thing. And then see them to go and do the same thing.
Right.
There's so many people that I've worked with now that want to be that want to be in the industry, and it's almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And you see that, and that's slowly but surely changing the world if you think about it like that.
I just did a video today and I was talking about that. I call it, it's flow. I did a course over the summer and it was this life of happiness and fulfillment. And the way they coined that was flow. When you find flow in your life, it's basically when you're doing the thing that you love to do, that you lose track of time. You're just in it. You're just in it. You're in it. Today I did a video in one of the groups I'm in, and I was talking about, I call the happy factor. And I was talking about how majority of people never find that in life. They go every day on autopilot, living from it's living for the weekend, and then it's Monday again, and they never really find that, and they don't really know what that means to have that. You know what I mean? And I know because I was on the other side where I was kind of like meandering through, and I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? When you get on that other side and you realize like what you're trying to create and what you're doing, and like you said, you wake up every day and you're like, this is what I feel like I should be doing. And you could do it for free. You need to not be doing it for free because you want to help everybody, right? You realize I can't just do this for free for everybody, but you want to because you know that you're in your place where you need to be. And so you hit like a really good thing. That's the passion piece. That's the flow and the passion. And I love it. So I want to ask you a mindset question because this is one of my favorite questions. I love this question. So when you're going after something like goal, the book, whatever, creating the business, whatever, what does that headspace look like for you?
Oh my gosh. There are so many times to where I look up and I say, I'm not where I want to be. I haven't hit that yet.
That's good.
I'll never get here. I'll never get that.
Right.
And everybody always says, look back and see how far you've come. Well, guess what? What if I look back and I'm not as far as I want to come?
There you go.
You're still going to get
still
to that.
going.
You're still going to get to that space to where the crazy thing is I'm never satisfied with anything I do. Anything that I never put limits on anything I do. There's never even training. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna have 10 classes this month. I just went and did it.
You just did it.
I just did it. You almost have to be obsessed with what you're doing. And this is not the beginning, the end. It's constant. It's a constant motion. And you can't be scared to outwork anybody.
Right.
All right, the reason why I wake up so early in the morning is just to get a head start.
Right.
Because normally my days...
Slay your day.
Right. My day is normally done by 10 o'clock.
Like that's mine is too.
So, and even then, it's just add on. That's overtime. That's your overtime.
Right.
All right? That's your overtime.
Yeah.
So everything that you put in after that, even then, with your 9 to 5, everything like that, everything that you do, that you've done up to that point since 3 a.m. or however time you wake up, it's still adding on to your resources. So my mindset with that was to get up, get an early start, no matter what, every morning. And I know sometimes it's hard to get up. But once you get into that rhythm, whether it's checking emails, whether it's just taking time to yourself to meditate, listening to some motivation, it's almost like psyching myself up for the day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I know you're probably up too. Sometimes I feel like I'm legend. Like nobody else
I'm
is up.
I'm up at 5 every day.
Nobody else is up. Nobody else is up. I'm walking around town.
I think Chris is up in the morning. I text him early.
He's up too.
Yeah, I text him early someday. I'm almost scared because I'm like, I don't know who my people are. I like my new business partner. I was like texting her at 6:30 this morning. Actually, I was leaving her voiceover on iPhone at 6:30 this morning. My brain is like, I am up at 5 every day. Yeah. Because my brain is just, that's when I'm probably on my game. Like I think of all my ideas. Like this morning I went and walked the dogs and I came back and I'm like, hey, Brianna, I have a title for our course. I've got a name for this. I had a video. I had already laid out all my social media this morning, what I was going to do, like while I'm walking the dogs.
You know what they call that? They call it your zone. That's your zone.
Yeah.
and everybody, because here's the thing, I'm on my decline right now because
Me too. Me too.
About 6 o'clock.
That's why this is funny right now, because we're on the decline. We're not thinking straight.
So wait till about 8 o'clock. I'm in bed. But
yeah.
no, like that's your zone. Like that's the time period where you're up and you're focused mode, and everybody's is different. Some people can do 8 o'clock. Some people do 10 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and scientifically, you should think, most males are, from 9 to about 10 o'clock. You want to know why? Because that's when your testosterone is the highest. You would think.
Yeah.
But some people are, it just depends on what you're doing. Usually after I work out in the morning, I'm up. Like I'm up the rest of the day.
That's why I have to get my workout done in the morning too. I've got to be done with it because, I'll talk about this another time. But it says I should work out later in the day. There's a book that this sleep doctor wrote about this whole circadian rhythm that we have, and based on like where we are, like my time to work out is like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, oh no, that is in the middle of the day. That means I have to clean up again. That means I'd have to like clean up, do work, and then if I want to do something again, I got I'm too lazy for that. No.
And I consider my workout to be my therapy. Like I feel like that's my getting everything ready for the day, calming my body down.
It's the piece in that puzzle we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is so good. You said so many good things. So, and in our Power of the Wind book, Chris, we're going to say he's a lion.
There you go.
Because he's up early in the morning. Is breakfast your favorite meal of the day?
It is.
And
guess what? I can eat breakfast at any time. Like I eat breakfast for dinner. I eat pancakes. I'll go to IHOP now.
Me too.
Like I will.
I like bacon, eggs, and pancakes.
Yeah, me too.
Day.
I can eat that at any time. But breakfast, and usually, and the crazy thing is, if I eat a good breakfast, if I don't do anything else, I'm okay.
Yep.
I can just snack through the day if I have to. But if I don't get breakfast, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. That's my favorite meal. In fact, it's so funny. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was home and my son was in there, which is so weird because he usually works, and so he'll go eat on his own. And he was like, "Can you make some food?" Well, he doesn't eat meat. I do meat. He doesn't. So I'm like, "Well, what am I gonna make you? I don't eat beans. I'm not gonna make that. So you don't eat my food." I'm like, "You want pancakes? Because that's a universal. We can eat the pancakes." But he decided he didn't want that. But I'd be like, "We're gonna have bacon, eggs, and pancakes for dinner."
There you go.
So this is so good. Okay, last serious question I want to ask, and then I'm gonna do some fun with. So, how would you define success? What does that look like to you?
Ooh.
What's that mean to you?
Oh man. So have you heard of the grocery store theory?
No, I don't think I've heard this one.
Okay, so imagine you're in a grocery store, and you get in line. There's somebody already in front of you checking out. Okay, and then once you get in line, somebody else gets behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then a couple more people go. The lady gets a little slow. She's kind of iffing it up a little bit. And then she's got a coupon here, coupon there. Well, guess what? The lady across another line opens up. So the person behind you
runs over there,
gets to go over there. Okay. And they get to be first.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you're still waiting.
Yeah.
But you really don't want to leave that position where you're at right now because you don't know if it's going to be better not to go look for something else.
Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of the times, this is going back to this. So this is what I'm saying. I define it by what your position is, where you are right then, from where you have came from, and your willingness to wait and get what you want.
That is so good. I have not had anybody put it that way.
No, and that's how I have to put it to people. So I define success by where you are right there and what you're willing to do.
That's awesome.
Even though you're seeing people that are ahead of you, jump ahead of you, you don't know who else can come. Yeah, your patience with it. So success for me is how comfortable you are where you are. Some people are comfortable where they are, and they're very successful. I know a lot of people people right now who look back on their life and they're like, you know what? I probably wouldn't have done it any other way.
Yeah.
And then I look back and a lot of people are like, you know what? I should have done this and should have done that.
Yeah.
I define it strictly by where you are right there and how do you feel right there in that moment? How do you feel right there? Now it's going to shift and change.
Exactly.
But where you are in that moment, right now, I wake up every day and I feel like from where I've come from, all right, every time I talk to my mom, she's so proud of me.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Every time I talk to my grandma, she's so proud of me.
Yeah.
Everybody around me is in awe of basically what I've been able to accomplish. I don't feel that way.
You feel like there's more,
Yeah, it's always, like I said, I'm never satisfied. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
My success is never based on what everybody else is. It's always been mine. But where I am right now, I'm satisfied because I know that people are depending on me.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. I
love that. Yeah. That's a good perspective. I think it's really about you're open and growth, I think is what it is. It's that there's always more to be learned and had and achieved. So, and that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I always say I guess similarly, I say it's about happiness and I think it's about embracing where you are, but also knowing that if like I've had this conversation with several people and I agree with you. Some people, they're fine with where they are and they will live their whole life like that. They may be okay with that. Me, I don't settle. Like, I think there's always more to be had, more to be learned. I feel like we're put here to thrive, to leave a legacy, to impact. I mean, I've been this way probably since the time I was a little kid. My mom used to tell me, she'd be like, whatever you want to do, you're going to move mountains. Like, you can do anything you want to do.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes it bites you because let's say things like relationships is like you're never satisfied. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Right.
You know, and then you have to be like, well, maybe I do settle for this. You know, certain things, certain positions. You know, sometimes I've gotten offers to do a lot of things, to coach at big schools, to be athletic performance directors. And I'm just like, well, I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to be tied down to one thing. And a lot of people say, you should have taken that. You know, and I'm just like, well,
you got to do what calls you.
And I look back and it's like, well, I never missed the opportunity. I'm glad to have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get it again, maybe I won't. But still, every day I look up and I was like, I am so happy doing what I'm doing right now that in my mind, I'm the most successful person that I can be.
This is so good. Okay, well, I think you've sold my audience. This is so good because you got me sold now. I love it. All right, so let's do some fun rap. This has all been so good. Like, this is really good. And I think that, you know, anybody that's in that, just, you've said so many tips, I think, on so many different levels, you know, about exercise and nutrition and just mindset and all of that. So I think this is really, really good. There's going to be some good little clips out and some meme-worthy stuff. All right, so fun questions. These are, I call rapid fires. They're easy. They're just they're rapid fires. Okay. So I can't ask you the first one because I already know you're a morning person. That would have been my first one. So let's do this one. Are you a cat or dog person?
Dog.
Dog. Do you have a dog?
I do.
Okay, what kind of dog do you have?
He's a pit, yeah.
You have a pit?
Yeah.
I have a pit.
Yeah.
I have had, this is my second one. My other one that we rescued passed in June. It was awful. No. So sad. He was more like the big bulldog type. Oh, I love that dog.
Mine's a Stafford Terrier.
I have one like that now. Yeah. She's crazy. Her name is Cece. Yeah. She's like, I call her Cece the clown. She is crazy. That dog.
I got Rocky. He's a little bitty thing, but he'll be all right.
Oh my goodness, how fun.
He just,
But this dog we have now is like nuts. I have so much fun with her, but I mean, I went in there yesterday and we had made the bed, and I go in there and she has the whole bed undone. The whole bed is undone. She pulled all the covers up and bundled, and I'm like, what are you doing in my bed? Like, leave my bed alone. But she's crazy. We have fun with her. All right. What is your favorite food?
Ooh, anything Italian. Pasta.
Italian.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, a lot of carbs. I'm sorry.
There is a lot of carbs. Yeah. But you know what? With the pasta, take the noodles off. You get the cheese and the meat. Like, I would be like, give me the pizza, but take the cheese and the meat off the top and the veggies. People laugh at me because sometimes I'll eat it. I mean, I do eat some carbs, but a lot of times I'll just pull all the stuff off the top.
Anything Italian, Mediterranean, I eat it. And then I do have a soft spot for Mexican food.
I like
Can't eat it all a lot. Can't eat it a lot, but I mean.
I like Mexican. I could eat chips and salsa like
everywhere you go. We're in Texas.
Every day I could eat chips. Like, don't even have to ask me, where do you want chips and salsa?
Right.
Okay. All right. If you were stuck on a deserted island, you had food, you had Italian food, you could eat your Italian. Okay. What would be the one other thing you'd have to have?
Oh, my Bible.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you read the whole thing?
Yeah, I guess over a period of time. I can't say I've sat there and actually whatever.
But over time,
yeah, but my issues, I'm pretty sure every chapter was needed in some way. Yeah.
You're like, let me open up this chapter. I'm going to read about this right now. Yeah. Like, pulling it out right now. Let's get it back out, right? That's so awesome.
That's just because I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes you don't know where to go. And I know people tell me all the time, they're just like, well, you know, just having faith is enough. But I have to sit there and I have to see the word, because I'm a very, I visualize a lot more than I should. Like, I visualize everything and I overanalyze everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to bring myself back down, and then at the same time, don't get too prideful doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I can understand that. All right. And if you could be any superhero or character for one day, what would you pick? These are the fun questions.
I know, but man, you got me on this one, because I would. Oh man. Well, I would say, well, I don't know whether I'm going to go superpowers or whatever, because of course it'd be either Batman or Superman. But he's just rich, and Superman has all the power.
Yeah, Batman. I would say Batman has a cool car. Yeah, it's kind of mysterious.
But no, honestly, I'd be Superman. Yeah,
Superman's good. Yeah. He can do all kinds of things. They can fly over everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Save the day.
This
is so good, James. This was so awesome. So, if our listeners wanted to learn a little bit more about you, what you've got going on, where do you want us to send them?
Well, you can go to missionfithealth.com.
Okay.
I'm on there as well.
Okay.
You can always go on Instagram. I'm at James Fisher Jr.
Okay.
Or even Facebook, we can do that too. James Fisher, the same.
Okay.
Or like I said, one of the main things is to reach out, like I said, via the website, and I always respond. I'm quick response on that. So, and people ask questions all the time.
You are pretty quick.
People ask response all the time, and people just and a lot of times people just want to know a couple of questions.
Right.
Be educated in what's going on. I've got a lot of clinical questions lately about certain things.
Sure.
Diabetes in children is really. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions about, younger females getting diabetes, and I'm just like, what?
It's this diet, this food we have,
Yeah.
all this.
So
this
that's
Western
been a huge
diet.
thing lately. So don't feel bad. And that's what I'm saying. It's a community too, and I will put you in contact with people who are dealing with the same thing.
That's
if
very
anything,
good.
I'm just a resource. So.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, yeah, so our listeners can definitely, I think there was a lot of really good information here. So thanks for sharing with us.
No
Thanks for
problem.
telling your story and all that good stuff. And so to our listeners, of course, check him out. Go to his website. Check it out. Do want to say if you enjoy our show, please be sure you give us a rating on iTunes. Check out us on iHeart and Amazon, and then hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. We like that. And then I'm going to leave you guys with a couple final thoughts. This is so fun because these are our last shows for the 2020 year.
Okay.
We're wrapping up, and so I'm super excited about what we've got going on, and appreciate you being on the show and
again,
sharing with us.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so you're going to like this one. Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender. It's holy ground. There's no greater investment. And that is by Stephen Covey.
Okay.
All right, you guys, in order to have success, you must start, and that start begins with a decision. Be safe. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.